I am sick of this backsplash. I'm just gonna bust this up.
Lance, wait, what are you doing?
I hate this backsplash.
If you want to play with tile, play Azul.
Hey there guys, I have Azul on the table here. Let me give you guys a look at it. This is a tile drafting and tile placement game in which you will be taking these beautiful tile pieces and putting them on your player board to create a beautiful mosaic, if I can say that word. And in doing so, you will gain points, and whoever has the most points at the end of the game is the winner. Let me go over how a round works. You will designate a first player, and that first player will get their choice of what they want from the discs that have tiles on them. Now, the number of discs that are out here is dependent upon the number of players in the game. And the number of tiles on each disc will always be 4. And you will draw those at random from this bag here and place 4 on each disc. Now, when it's your turn, your choice is that you can take all of one color from a disc, leaving the rest of whatever's on the disc. So I could take these 3 reds here, or instead I could take this one black. Over here, I could take these 2 yellows, or I could take this one snowflake, or I could take this one black. Whatever I don't take gets pushed to the middle. And whatever I do take comes to my player board. So for instance, I might take these 3 red here, and I'm gonna place them in one of these rows over on this side. Now, whatever row I start with a certain color has to only contain that color. I can't mix them with other colors of tiles. So for instance, if I start this row right here with these 3 red, let me get these on here. I have not completed the row because there's still one more space, and the only thing that can go in that space is another red. I can't put any other tiles there. If I completely fill up a line, then that's going to help me when it comes to scoring, because any line that's completely full, I will move over the rightmost tile from that line and put it on its matching space over here in the same row on this side of the board. I'll come back to that here in just a second. I also can only take tiles from a disc and put it in one row. I can't split them up and say, well, I'm gonna put 2 here and 1 here. You can't do that. It all has to be in the same row. So like that. So those are the rules. And again, whatever I don't take gets pushed to the middle. And so if we progress the game here and another player took those 2, then those would go in the middle. And let's say that I take these 2 snowflakes and that goes there. And I might put these 2 snowflakes here, for instance. And the next player might take that, and I might take the black, and that one's gonna go in the middle, and I might put that black right there. And they may take the 2 black, and I might take the 2 snowflakes, and I might put them here, for instance. Now, at any point in the round, it doesn't have to be once all these discs are depleted, but at any point in the round, somebody can take from the middle. And when you take from the middle, again, it's the same way as the discs. You take all of a certain color, leaving anything else behind. And if you are the first person to take from the middle, you are going to take this tile that has a 1 on it. And you would take that in addition to whatever it is you're taking. So if I'm the first one to take from here, I might take these 2 blue. And since I've already started these blue snowflakes on this line and I have 2 more spaces there, I might put those 2 that I just took right there. And I have to take this 1 tile and I have to add it to this row down here, which as you can see, this row has negative numbers. For every space that I fill up in a round, I'm going to lose that number of points at the end of the round. So just by taking this, I automatically lose 1 point. But what this allows me to do is become the first player in the next round, and I would get my first pick from whatever comes out here. And the round continues until there's nothing else that is left out there to take, and so I might put those down here since that's the only other space that I have available to me. And that would be the end of the round. Now, if this space had already been full, let's say that that was there, and those 4 black were left out there, and it happened to be my turn. I have to take those black tiles. I can't refuse them. I can't say, no, I pass. I have to take them, and that would be very unfortunate because I don't have anywhere on my board to put them. I can't put them here because I've already started it as red. And let's pretend for just a moment that that was there, that was not on my board, and this one black was right here. And I had these 4 blacks. Well, I could put one of them here to finish that line out, but I have 3 left over, and those 3 left over would have to come down here to the negative line. Now, this is something that can leave a bad taste in the mouth of your non-gamer friends and even your gamer friends playing this game because they just kind of have to take it. There's nothing that you can really do about that. They're going to lose 6 points in this case if that's what their board looked like. And it's just unfortunate, but that's the way it goes. Now, the way scoring works, as I've said, any line that is completed, you are going to take the rightmost tile and move it over here to this side of the board to its matching space. And you start from the top going down. Any tile you place is worth 1 point in and of itself, so that would be worth 1 point. If a tile is adjacent to another tile, vertically or horizontally, you'll get an additional point for each one. So I got 1 for that one. I would get a 2nd point for placing this tile, but I would also get a 3rd point for that tile being there. Now, let's say I place this red one. I would get 4 points, 5, and 6 because you get points all the way through the line as long as there's adjacency, as long as they're connected. This one would only give me 1, so I would get a total of 7 points there. Lines that are not completed just remain there. You don't do anything with them, but you do lose points for however much is filled up in this line. So if I had 7, I'm going to lose 6, which means I only get 1 measly point, and I keep track of my points with this little cube here on my scoreboard here. So I would have 1 point after doing all of that. Lines in which you've taken a tile from to put over here on this side of your board to score. You take the remaining tiles and you take them off your board, and the rules state to put them in the lid of the game box. And what you do with the tiles that are in that lid, you use them to refill the bag whenever the bag is depleted. You continue the game until someone completes a horizontal row. And so once someone has fully completed any one of the 5 rows, then that indicates that that will be the last round of the game. And you move to final scoring, in which you give yourself 2 points for each row that you completed horizontally, 7 points for each column that you completed vertically, and 10 points if you were able to get all 5 spaces of a certain color filled. So there are 5 spaces for each of the 5 colors. If you can fill up all 5 of those spaces, you get 10 points for each color that you did that. You add up all your points, and the person who has the most points is the winner, and that is how you play Azul. Okay, so here's Sam and I and 2 of our friends doing a 4-player playthrough of Azul. And right now we're going to share our thoughts on the game. I'll go first. This is an awesome game, guys. Azul is quite possibly one of the greatest, what we call gateway games out there. And if you're not familiar with what that term means, gateway games are games that are pretty good games at helping non-gamers get into the hobby. A gateway. And Azul, for me, is right there at the top of the list for gateway games because while it's abstract and the theme isn't too strong, it's definitely a concept that is easy to grasp. You're just taking tiles, matching colors, and wanting to try to do that in a certain way that you do it adjacent to the tiles you already have so you can get the most points. That's a simple concept that's easy for non-gamers to understand. And the way you go about doing that, drafting from the tiles, putting back the ones you don't pick, and having to do it without getting too many at one time, otherwise you're going to get negative points, that's just a lot of fun. It's a challenging way of going about doing it that is very entertaining and enjoyable for everyone. So I think this is an awesome gateway game out there, guys. Sam, what do you think?
Well, I think a lot of you have heard me talk about this game comparing it to other games for quite a while. Azul is one of my favorite games, if not my favorite game, and it definitely was the gateway game for me. It was the game that got me trusting Lance a little bit more when he suggested we play a board game. I like it because it's not your typical play and roll or a lot of the other types of games that Lance typically likes. It's an abstract game. And I think we determined after playing this that that's my game. That is my genre of games. And I really enjoy it. I like the, puzzle aspect of it. That's always something that I enjoy. I do feel like it's easy enough for newer gamers or younger gamers like our kids. And it's fun. And it's fairly quick, too. It's a fairly quick game.
Yeah, definitely. Now, so there is that aspect to the game, however, in which you can hate draft, which is where you take the tiles that someone else desperately needs. And usually this happens towards the end of a round when there's not very many choices left. And you can choose that option that the player next to you really needs. And it doesn't, it's probably not the best choice for you, but that it's the choice that if they don't get, then you're really messing them up and causing them probably to take lots of negative points. Sam, what do you think about that as a non-gamer?
I mean, I don't like when it happens to me, but I do like doing it to others. It adds an exciting element to it. When you're trying to, and it's such a fast-paced game that if you do it to somebody or somebody does it to you, you can get back at them pretty quickly as well.
Yeah. And I've played this game several times, and I don't know that it's a viable strategy to just constantly go each turn trying to mess with everyone
because
at the
you're
table.
not going to get any points yourself if you're not really focused on exactly what you do need.
Yeah.
But every once in a while at the end of a round.
Right. And it's just as much as likely to happen to you as it is to happen to anyone else at the table. So it's not something that I think one person is always going to feel like they're being ganged up on and having the bad breaks the entire time. So I would say it's just a minor issue, if that. Now, I do want to speak real quick. There are two other Azul games out there, Azul Stained Glass of Sintra and Azul Summer Pavilion, and this is the lightest one of the series, meaning it's the easiest to understand, it's the easiest to introduce to non-gamers, and as such, I think this is the one that we would say, if you're going to go with an Azul game, this is the one to go with.
You want to start here for sure.
Yeah, start here. And possibly work your way up to those other ones.
The other two are awesome as well, and I'd hope in the future that we can compare all three of them for you all to see the differences.
I'm sure we'll probably do that at some point, yeah. But for me as a gamer, I do appreciate the other Azuls maybe a little bit more than this Azul, just simply because of the gameplay and the mechanics, the way those games work. It's challenging. It's definitely more of a brain burner than this version is. But if I'm going to play with someone who's not typically into board games or deep thinky board games, then I'm definitely going to bring this Azul out to the table before the other two. So, okay, let's jump into our ratings. Sam, I'll let you go first since this is kind of your game. What do you give this game? Scale of 1 to 10, love to hate.
I give Azul a 9.3. It's very easy to learn. It's quick paced. It's my genre of abstract games. So for me personally, a 9.3.
Now I'm curious, why not a perfect 10?
I don't know. Maybe that's just because we've played it so often that it doesn't hold the, novelty that it used to. So maybe that's it. But in general, I think it's a great game still.
Okay. For me, I think I give this game a 7.8. Very solid rating there. It is, quite honestly, it's a almost perfect game to play with non-gamers. The only slight knock is that possibility that they get stuck with something that's not perfect for what they need and they have to take negative points. But as I've already said, that's likely to happen to you too. So that
doesn't sound like someone you want to play with anyway. So,
well, just making sure you guys are aware that component is in this game. But 7.8, very high rating. I enjoy playing this game. As I've already said, it's not my favorite of the Azul games, and that's probably why it's only a 7.8. And you guys can guess. Sam, you would say this is a game you recommend playing with non-gamers.
For sure.
All right, so there you guys have it. If you like this game, check out the link in the description of the video. If you like this video, consider liking and subscribing. For Sam and Lance, we are Love to Hate. We'll catch you next time.